Information Center for giving this wonderful opportunity to me to share my views and my specialization. I myself am Rajashekhar, working as a scientist at the Institute of Biotechnology, Rajendra Nagar, Hyderabad. Before starting my journey, initially I worked as a scientist at Krishi Vignan Kendra Palem. Today I am sharing one of the most important topic and which will be most commonly used by the farmers at the field level. But still, there is a much emphasis is needed to practically implementing of these aspects. Uh, Once again, welcome to all. Today, I'm delivering my lecture on integrated pest management strategies and approaches. Coming to that integrated pest management, first we should know what is pest. Pest means anything which is causing the to the which may include the crops and property and everything. Pest means it is anything. It may be insect, it may be fungus, it may be bacteria, virus, wild boar, monkeys. All will comes under the pest. For managing, for controlling of these pests, we are using different kind of the pesticides, but pesticides are not at all giving the not at all giving the complete control. Moreover, continuous using of these pesticides, there is a chance for development of the resistant. To overcome these problems, recently, then one of best method was evolved. That is the integrated pest management. It is the integration pest management is not is the general terms. It is the associated population mix and using of all suitable methods and which are more or less compatible to each other. And major aim is to reduce the to reduce the pest damage below the economic injury level. In a simple terms, we can say that integrated pest management is nothing but it is the management system with the pest as well as the ecosystem aspects we have to keep in mind and before applying of the any chemical. But this here we have to give much emphasis to the only other methods compared to that chemical method. In a general terms, it is nothing but first we should know that what is the pest and what is the dynamics. Dynamics in the sense at what temperature the incidence of the pest will be high, at what temperature or what weather conditions the activity of the pest will be peaked, and then when the pest incidence will be less. By this, when you know the pest and when you know that a particular combination of the methods which will be working very suitable, and we have to know that combination of the methods. But when we are using this combination of methods, we should aware about that which is compatible to each other. By this way, we should know the pest and management methods, and both things we should be main aim of these things should be we have to keep the pest population below the economic injury level. Now come to the IPM. IPM is nothing but integration. Integration is nothing. We have to use the combination of methods like from starting sowing to harvesting, which may include the cultural method, mechanical method, physical method, biological method. Our last research should be the chemical method. But unfortunately, what will happen means in a recent era or means after green revolution, most of the times most of the farmers and giving the much importance to the chemical method. But over a period of time using of these chemical, there is a lot of problems like resistant development in insects and residues in our food, and also there will be a resurgence of the pest, and sometimes there is a secondary pest outbreaks. By this way, what we have to do means we have to integrate. We, instead of depending upon the single method of the chemical control, we have to integrate all combination of the methods, and then we have to go for management. The management should be it should be in a ecologically stable and economically feasible and technically sound, and the farmer should be get much benefit from these aspects. And moreover, these technology should be locally available, and locally the farmer has the capacity to make those methods, and he has to implement. Now come to that series of phases in evolution of this IPM. If we look after these phases, single tactic phase means earlier everybody used to say giving the much importance to the single pest, and but in a field situation we cannot get that single pest at a time, because in the stem in the paddy when the there is a chance for occurrence of the stem rot also, and sometimes there may be probable chances for the occurrence of the BPH. By this way, what we have to do means instead of the single tactic phase, and we have to go for multi-tactic phase. It means we have to use the multiple tactics to managing of this phase. And biological phase. When we are using these IPM methods, we should give much importance to the climate as well as the natural predators and parasiters, because without their role, we unable to manage these pests effectively. And also we have to take the decision of management optimization phase. Means we have to build a constructive IPM models. Then only we could able to manage the pest perfectly. And the general term everybody used to say that any management tactics which are broadly categorized into two types, that is preventive methods and as well as the therapeutic or curative methods. Preventive methods means the measures we are taking before occurrence of the pest. Means like before occurrence of the pest means following of the deep summer flowering and using of the resistant cultivars and following of the cultural practices and conserving of the natural enemies. This will comes under the preventive measures. But nowadays, most of the farmer they are not at all following these preventive methods. Everybody is following on the curative methods. Curative methods means they are using that directly when the pest is coming, when the pest infestation was severe, directly they are applying of the chemical. And sometimes even the pest load was less, but farmers are applying the chemical at the time. Instead of giving the control to the pest, there is a chance for development of the resistance is the one of the aspect. And one more aspect is there is a chances for increasing of the cost of cultivation, and moreover there is ecological imbalance. By this way, we should know that what is the crop and what is the pest it is occurring. Based on that only we have to make a decisions. Main objective of the pest management, any pest management objective is we should not eradicate the pest, because if we are eradicating the particular pest, some of the insects are natural enemies which are depending on the pest, they will be also eradicated. By this way, our main objective, our main motto should be we should reduce the pest load up to below the economic injury level. Though the pest is present up to that extent, it won't cause them much damage. By this way, we should maintain the pest population below the economic injury level. And moreover we have to use the eco-friendly methods. Eco-friendly methods means which should not degrade our environment like air, water, pollution and wildlife. But this we have to use the eco-friendly method and economically feasible methods only we have to use. And at the same time we have to give much emphasis to the natural mortality factors, which may be including your natural enemies and climate also. And the most important is we the climatic conditions or weather conditions which will be much favorable to the natural enemies multiplication and less favorable to multiplication. Then only means there is a sync between the pest and natural enemy, but a synchro between the crop as well as the pest. Then only we can effectively manage these pests. This is the basic introduction about that IPM and what is its objective and what are the typical management methods most of the farmers were following. Now come to the principles of the pest management. If you look after any principles, because these are the undergrounding areas, and if you look following these principles, we can reduce the usage of the chemical. The first one is understanding of the agriculture ecosystem. First, we should understand the agriculture ecosystem, because without understanding of the agriculture ecosystem, we could not able to implement these IPM practices effectively. If you look after the, if basically if we will compare the agriculture ecosystem with the forest ecosystem, the basic difference is in a forest ecosystem, the incidence of the pest will be very less. Why? Because the forest ecosystem is much diversified, because there will be n number of the plants and n number of the pests, and there will be less chances for the outbreak. But if you look after the agriculture ecosystem, there is the problem will be existing, because almost in entire India there are three or more, three to four paddy, then maize. These four crops are the predominant cultivating, and most of the time these crops are cultivating in a monocrop. But this is what will happen. There is a chance for occurrence of the pest, and moreover, these agriculture ecosystem is continuously disturbed by the human activities, because most of the times after sowing of the farmer, they used to go for intercultivation operations. Then they go for irrigation aspects and spraying of the chemicals. By this way, it is continuously manipulating and continuously disturbing. By this way, what will happen means there is a chances for less manipulation of the natural enemy. By this way, we should have clear cut idea about the how was our agriculture ecosystem, and we should make our ecosystem should be much diverse of the monocrop. We have to go for multi intercropping or trap cropping, and so that what will happen means there is a chances for the reduction in the pest load. That is a one principle. First, we should have to understand the agriculture ecosystem. Second, coming to the planning of agriculture ecosystem, we have to plan the agriculture ecosystem in a such a way that there should be asynchrony between the pest as well as the crop, and synchrony between the pest and natural enemy. For that purpose, to see if we look after that most of the times in a Maharashtra region and some of the areas, farmers are cultivating cotton followed by the bendi. What happens is cotton followed by the bendi, cotton they used to grow in the Kharif season and bendi they used to go for Rabi season. What will happen means the pest which is attacking in the cotton and spiny bollworm, it may attack on the next succeeding crop of the bendi. But this is, we should avoid that such kind of the we should plan that cotton followed by some of the other vegetables instead of going of the bendi. And some of the means by keeping a view we should have the clear idea about in case of soybean. So the cultivars which are having hairs, pubescent hairs are means there is a less preferred by that leaf over. If it will be glabrous type means it will be much preferred by the leaf over. By this way, we should select that soybean cultivars which are having that pubescent hair-like structure. By this way, there will be less chance for the occurrence of that leaf over. Yes, of cotton also same similar thing. If it is pubescent hairs are present on the cotton leaf or stem and petiole region, there is a less incidence of leaf over damage compared to the glabrous type. And third most important one is cost benefit ratio. Most of the times farmers are looking after their benefits only. They are not looking after their costs because nowadays the production costs were increasing instead of else. But before applying of any chemical, farmer should think if he is investing 100 rupees for the particular chemical means at least he should get 500 rupees or at least 300 rupees means then only he has to use the chemical. And moreover, when the farmer is using the chemical, he should analyze the cost benefit ratio should be if he is investing 1 rupee, he should get more than 1 rupee. And the risk is nothing but if he is spraying the chemical where it is going most of the time, the chemical is falling on the water, air, and it is polluting all the natural ecosystem. But this, we should look after cost benefit ratio. Most of the farmer, their point of view only they're looking after, but they should look after the risk aspects also. Risk aspects means we are facing that risk because when we are consuming the certain kind of the vegetables or fruits, there is a more chances for the more chances of the residues. By this way, we are getting certain kind of the different kind of the ill effects. But, overall, what I want to convey means not only farmer has to look after their own benefit, they also look after the benefit of the ecosystem. Then only they will get that good yield and better management. And fourth one is total the pest damage. This is most of the farmers they never ever and used to follow because in a general in a pest population when the pest population at the economic threshold level we should not worry. When it is causing the economic threshold level, then only we have to go for management methods, not to complete management method. We have to manage the pest population up to below the economic injury level. And means certain crop pests they can tolerate up to the certain extent. Because sometimes what will happen if the farmer is observing one insect on the field and he is going for thing. If it is one insect, if he is spraying means he is the wasting of the money. He is not only wasting of the money at the same time, is contaminating the ecosystem. There is a chances for the pollution of the ecosystem. By this way, what we have to do means based on the threshold level, based on the economic threshold level or economic injury level, this is the decision supporting tool. And when the population is approaching the threshold level, also we should and after crossing the economic threshold level, then only we have to go for pest management aspects. And next one is leaving out the pest residue. Complete elimination of the pest is we not at all needed. By this way, what we have to do means we have to maintain certain amount of the pest. Why we have to maintain a certain amount of the pest load means because on these pests certain natural enemies like predators or parasitoids, other microorganisms, they might be depending on the pest. If we are spraying in a particular chemical, if you are eliminating the pest means there is a chance for death of along with your pest chances of the death of natural elements also, but it will disturb the ecosystem. And timing of the treatments. Always, most of the farmers they are taking spraying operations, but we have to take the operation time because the more time we
Hello. Dr. Rajashekhar. Hello. Yeah.
Hello, am I audible?
I think you got disconnected. Now you can share the screen.
Okay. It is disconnected from me, from my side
From
only,
you
madam.
only, sir, from your side. Now you share the screen again.
Yeah, I shared.
It's getting shared. Just wait, no? Yeah, yeah. You can continue.
That's what actually means. And one more thing is means here, the timing of the treatment, most of the times farmers are using the spraying operations irrespective of the conditions they are spraying. By this way, what we have to do means we have to find the weak links. When the pest is at the weak stage, during that time only we have to apply the chemical. By weak stage means every organism is having the particular stage. At the stage, if you spray the chemical, we can get very effective management. For example, in case of Spodophila, the egg stage and larval stage is the weak stage, because at the stage these insects will be in a what is that they will be in a groups, so that if you spray any chemical we can control effectively. But this we have to find the weak stages of the pest, then only we have to apply the chemical. And last principle, but it is the most important principle, is public understanding and acceptance, because most of the IPM practices like ICR institutions and state agriculture universities were developed, almost all the crops we are having the IPM practices, but most of the farmers they were not following, and they are not implementing in their own field because of lacking of that field extensionary functionaries is the one of the thing. And another one is there is a understanding, means by this we should create awareness programs and regularly by involving of the Department of Agriculture people, Department of the Horticulture people, and moreover with the involvement of the KVK scientists, then only we the farmers at the village level, at the doorstep level, they will get the aware, then only they will follow that these IPM methods. These are the basic principles of the integrated pest management. Now come to that components of the IPM. Means the most of the components these are not needed, but this is the most important aspect, like cultural practices. Cultural practices means these are the regular and routine practices which are followed by the most of the farmers in their own field. But but they are following, but they are following irregularly. If the farmer is following the regular and routine practices with a bit carefully, then they can reduce the incidence of the most of the pests. Among them is first one is habitat manipulation. Habitat manipulations which will be including the planting time, because if you look after that rice, if the early sowing, if the rice transplantation which is finished in the month of June, then there will be less chance for the attack of this gall midge and hair bug, gall midge in case of paddy, and shoot fly in case of the sorghum, and white grubs in case of groundnut, and pod borers in case of the red gram, green gram, black gram. And moreover, if the farmer is using high seed rate, he can easily manage the shoot fly in case of sorghum, stem borer in case of the maize, and even closer spacing that will be also helpful for the reducing of the bud necrosis in case of that groundnut. And if the alleyway formation, where the farmer going for the alleyway, so that we can effectively manage we can effectively manage the pest. And moreover, these alleyways will be helpful for the reduction of the BPH incidents. See, the alleyways is nothing but these are the small gap between the two rows, so that what will happen means farmer can easily walk out and he can easily carry out that his operations. And at the same time, if you look after that sorghum, if the farmer is sowing the early sowing, means up to June, there will be less incidence of the shoot fly. And if it is normal slowing, means it is the July 1st to July 15th, there is a medium incidence. If it is delayed sowing, means after July 15th, there is a severe incidence of the shoot fly, because this shoot fly is the one of the most important pests and which is attacking on the sorghum almost throughout the year, especially in the early sown crop, it will be escaping the incidence of this shoot fly incidence. By this way, this is the regular practice, but the farmers are still they are sowing the crop after July 15th. When they are sowing for after July 15th, there is a chance for more incidence of this shoot fly. By this way, we have to suggest the farmers they have to cultivate that sorghum crop up to June end only. And some of the other practices like crop spacing, crop location, and crop rotation. If you look after the crop spacing, if this spacing is the closer, then there will be chances for the more attack of the sucking pest. And if the spacing is the optimum, there is a less chances for the attack of the sucking pest. By this way, we should means generally the aphids incidence will be very severe when the row to row spacing will be less than 0.8. And location means most of the times the field bunch should be clear, because when the field bunds are clear, then there will be when the food is not available for the crop pests, they are unable to lay the eggs on the bunds. But if the bunds are not clear, there is a chances for more occurrence of the pests. And crop rotation is nothing but instead of growing the same crop year after year in the same piece of land, what will happen means there is a chance for more occurrence of the pest. For example, if you look after the paddy, if the farmer is cultivating the paddy in a kharif and rabi also, if he is going for the paddy in a rabi, then there is a what will happen means there is a more chance for incidence of the stem borer. If you look after this, especially in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and even Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Telangana, it's much severe because of cultivation of the paddy area, because two seasons in a Kharif and Rabi, most of the farmers they are cultivating the paddy crop only. By this way, the incidence of the stem borer is very high. By this way, what we have to do means we have to rotate the crop. If it is Kharif, the farmer is cultivating the paddy. In a Rabi, he has to move some of the other pulses or oilseed crop. If he is having the same 1 acre land, at least he has to change the variety. Otherwise, there is a much pest load will be there. By this way, we have to create the discontinuity. And as I said, that late transplantation. If the farmer is late transplanting, there is a chance for severe incidence of this gallmage. And in case of sorghum, there is a severe incidence of this shoot fly. And in case of maize, there is a severe incidence of that fall army worm. And one more thing is another culture practice is tillage. Tillage, this is more before sowing of the crop, almost 100% all the farmer they used to do the tillage. This tillage is having that much effects like controlling of the most of the borers, because these borers they are undergoing of their preparation inside of the soil. But this is what we have to do means we have to do the deep summer plowing. If we are doing the deep summer plowing, what will happen means the pupal cases and which are present inside of the soil, they will be going and they will be exposing to the boards, so that these aggregate cattle aggregate, they will come and they will take away that pupa, so that we can reduce the pest load. And moreover, if we are taking up these deep summer plowing, this is the right time in the month of April and May. If the farmer is taking up these deep summer plowing, due to the scorching sunlight, whatever that fungal pathogens like wilt causing fungal pathogen like macrophomina and fusarium, they'll be exposed to the sunlight. The spores may not germinate when the crop is raised. By this way, it is a simple method, but we should recommend the farmers they have to take up these definitely in the month of April and May. Then only they could able to control this pest load. Another one is removal of the weeds, because most of the time these weeds will be acting as an alternative host, or sometimes they may act as a fixation host. When the crop is not available, these pests like Elcoarpus, Podoptera, Fallarmium, and even pink bollworm and spotted bollworm and some of the sucking pests, they will be taking the help of these weeds. When the crop is not there, these pests will go and they will lay the eggs, and they will lay the eggs and they will feed on the weed species. By this way, we should avoid that weeds should not be present near the field. Another one is diverting of the pest population. The means we have to go for trap cropping and intercropping, barrier cropping, and mulches. If you look after the trap cropping, means if it is the best trap cropping is in case of mirchi. If the farmer is cultivating in a mirchi along with the marigold, there is a less incidence of the elco or parmigiana. And similar case in a case of what is that tomato, it is trap cropped with marigold. Also, there is a less incidence of this elco or parmigiana. And by this, what we have to measure the trap crop is nothing but your marigold, which will be reducing of the pest load. And moreover, from the flowers also we can earn certain amount of the a certain amount also. By this, what I want to convey here is means we have to suggest the not only the single crop, we have to grow for trap cropping. If it is castor, if it is cabbage and cauliflower, farmer has to go for mustard crop. So that what will happen, there is a less incidence of the diamondback moth. In case of groundnut, the farmer, if he is cultivating the trap crop of the castor or sunflower, there is a less incidence of the Spodoptera litera. In a tomato, I already said, if it is tomato, it is marigold, there is a less incidence of the Helicoverpa armigera. In case of maize with sorghum, there is a less incidence of the corn stalk borer. And in case of cotton with bendi, there is a less incidence of the sucking pests and bollworms. By this way, they have to plan in a such a way that instead of going of the single crop, if it is single crop means less diversified. If it is with intercropping or trap cropping, what will happen means the crop will be much diversified. If it is much diversified, there will be less pest load, and moreover, our trap crop will attract the most of the pests, and the pest load will be only on the trap crop. It will not be in the main host crop, so that we can, without using of the any chemical, we can reduce the pest load. And one more thing is intercropping. Along with our main crop, if you grow with other intercropping, especially most of the flowering plants. So that what will happen means these flower color that will be attracted by the most of the natural enemies, so that the pest load will be going to reduce, and we can utilize that insecticidal spray very less. And moreover, if you go intercropping with a certain legume crops, so what will happen means these legumes, these are contain the rhizobium nodules. These nodules will enhance the nutrient uptake. Like that, earlier, most commonly, even in Karnataka, Rajasthan, and adjoining areas of that Haryana and Telangana, most of the areas they used to follow sorghum with red gram. But nowadays, none of the farmer, if they are going the red gram means they will go for solely red gram. If they are going the sorghum means they will go for solely sorghum. By this way, we have to go for intercropping. Then only we can reduce the pest damage. And these intercropping means if one crop is failing, we can get the income from the other crop. If it is what will happen means it will be like a supporting system. It may act as the contingency crop planning also. Moreover, they do both the crop plants, they will be acting as the companion crops. And disadvantage means sometimes if you are using different crops means different families of the crop, there may be competition among that competition among the both the crops for the space and nutrients. And moreover, sometimes harvesting those things are the difficult, that we should look after it. Barrier crops. See, most of that, because if you look after this southern region, chili is the most predominant area. This chili is much attacked by the much amount of the viral disease. If you grow around the border of the chili with certain tall growing plants like pearl millet or maize or sorghum, that will hamper the movement of the second pest, especially thrips and whiteflies and aphids, so that the infestation will be confined to the particular crop only. So that the movement means adjoining farmer field he will not get it. Like that, we have to go for barrier crops. See here that maize surrounded by the napier grass, so that there will be less incidence of that fall armyworm. And we can go for border cropping also. Here also, if it is maize is cultivated around the cotton crop, so that what will happen, whatever the pests which are attacking on the cotton crop, which will be not affecting on that not affecting on the cotton crop. Another one is physical intervention. Physical intervention means by using of the certain kind of the traps. If you are using the light trap, because these light trap, if it is one trap for 1 hectare, the nowadays even solar traps also available. They are not much charging also. It will be around 1,500 to 2,000 rupees. If that we should not take up the any external inputs also, because when the sunny days are there, then it will the solar panel will absorb that light and it will store inside of the battery, and automatically the light will be lighten up during the evening hours. Like that, it means when the light is there, most of the adult moths they will be get attracting, and at the base the tub will be there. In the tub, if you use the water or some other surf water, so that the insects will fall down and then they will be going to die. And another most important one is sticky pads. So now these are easily available. If you are using these sticky pads, if it is yellow, blue, and white, that will be giving the much beneficial to the farmers. If you are using the yellow sticky pads, they will be attracting out that your white flies, aphids, leaf miner, so that the pest load will be going to reduce. And if you are using that blue sticky pads, that will be reducing of your thrips, and white sticky pads, that will be reducing of that mite infestation. By this way, we have to use yellow, blue, and white in a 1 acre, 10 yellow, 10 blue, and 10 white, so that we can reduce that infestation of almost all the sucking pests up to 50%, so that we can reduce the usage of that chemical also. See here, if you are using this sticky pad, that will be much attracting to that white flies. And another most important one is bird patches, because these bird patches are most commonly available at the farmer level also. If you are using these bird patches, what will happen means the birds will come and it will sit on that it will sit on that particular plant, and they will not sit simply. And when they are sitting, and they will search for the any pest population is there. If the pest population is there, they will go and they will take up that larva, and so that they can helpful for the controlling of that particular pest. See here that black drongo, it is eating on the helper of a harmijara. Like that, we can reduce that pest load. Another one is mechanical intervention. Here, the mechanical intervention is nothing but we have to use certain kind of the equipments, so that we can reduce the infestation of that particular pest. See, in case of groundnut, because these groundnut, the rabi groundnut, the Spodoptera incidence will be very severe. If you look after the one plant, each plant it will be having the 300 to 400 one to egg masses, which containing of the 300 of the egg masses eggs of this predator. In a simple way, if you go and if you identify whatever mosses are there, we have to take up that larva, we have to take up that leaf and we can pluck that leaf and we can remove it. And another one is see from the single egg mass how many larvas were emerged. If you look after here, the 200 to 300 larvas are there, and if it in that 10 larvas will survive also, they can cause the much damage. And this is in a sunflower. Earlier, this is in a Maharashtra region. Earlier, they used to means they used to collect the larvae from the sunflower head, because this sunflower head is consisting of the much amount of the Helicoverpa armigera. Not only that sunflower, even in red drum also it is severe infested with the Helicoverpa armigera. They used to keep 2 to 3 labors, and they used to use one cloth, and that cloth will be they used to they used to keep on the land, and 3 to 4 labor they used to beat that crop on that white cloth, and so that that larva will be dislodged. Means like that they used to do that. Means here you can see that how much amount of the larva they have collected. Because this is, though this is the tedious process, but without using of the chemical, this is also one of the method. And moreover, termites is now nowadays these are the biggest problem, because these termites are attacking almost not only in the field crops, horticulture crops, and even in urban ecosystem. Because of villa culture, most of the villas also, these termites are the major problem. But managing of these termites, it's not an easy task, and we have to go and we have to locate that queen. Wherever the queen is there, if you managing of the queen, then only you can effectively control. Without controlling of the queen, you unable to control those workers. If you control the workers also, the queen will lay the every day some 2,000 to 3,000 workers, so that the population will be again build up. And another one is in case of coconut and areca palm, and there the rats are major problem. To overcome that problem, what we have to do means we have to use the tins. At the means 1 meter above that canopy, we have to use the tins. What will happen means that will hamper the movement of the rat, and it unable to climb near to the tender coconut region, so that we can reduce the rat damage in coconut ecosystem. And one more thing is covering of the crop. And if you cover the crop with the nets, so that what will happen means there will be less entrance of the pests, especially fruit flies and those things also. We can manage, means high value fruit crops, and we can manage by covering of the net. Another one is covering of the fruits, because now it is the mango season. If we cover the mango with a certain kind of the polythene sheets or some other sheets, so that what will happen is there is a less chance for this fruit fly to lay the eggs. Like that we can manage that fruit flies also. Overall, what I want to conclude this here is, means most of the times farmers are using that most of the times farmers are relying the only the chemical. But if the farmer still continuously if are using the chemical, these chemicals will give the results immediately, but there is a chance for development of the resistant, and overall it will be going to affect our agriculture ecosystem. By this way, if you follow these simple IPM methods, which may be cultural method like seed treatment, or like regular tillage practices, and early sowing and late sowing and intercropping and trap cropping, and using of the yellow sticky pads, blue sticky pads, white sticky pads, and pheromone traps, and then follow with bagging of the fruits and netting of the fruits. And like that, these are the simple and regular and routine methods, and which are validated in the farmer field also. Most of the KVK scientists and even department peoples also, they are giving the very good awareness, but still much of the farmers they are not following. By this way, here my humble request is, if you use these methods effectively, we can definitely definitely we can reduce the usage of the harmful pesticides, so that we all can directly or indirectly helpful for the ecosystem conservation. If your ecosystem is conserved, then automatically we all will be survived, and we all will get the healthy food. If it is the healthy food is there, and everything will be healthy. With this, I once again thank you to organizers for giving that opportunity to share my views, and to deliver a lecture. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen so that
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can see your full video?
yeah, madam.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take up the questions now. What is the biological control in IPM? How effective is it?
Okay, madam, actually this biological control is nothing but because now even all the state agriculture universities and even Department of Agriculture people, they are also producing this biological. Biologicals means which include that certain neem oil and even rhizobium cultures and even trichogramma egg parasitoids and even trichoderma viridi, all are available, they are producing. But what will happen means the quality is the one of the issue. Because of that quality, and sometimes what will happen means they are producing and they are unable to means supplying of the farmers when they are needed. By this way, because of these biologicals will be available at the farmers at the right time, it will be one of the best component in integrated pest management, so that we can reduce the usage of the chemicals. Because if you look after the any state, all the states they are having this each I think in each district they are having that biopesticide production unit. If these units will be successfully running, and if these units are producing of that all biopesticides effectively, means definitely we will be going to reduce the usage of the insecticide at least 40%. Yes, madam.
What role do chemical control methods play in IPM and how are they regulated?
Yeah, this is a very valid question, madam, because chemical control, because most of the times when the pest load is very severe, very severe means at that stage there is only one option. Without using of the chemical, the farmer unable to save his crop. During that stage, definitely they have to use, because without chemical control, IPM also will not exist. Because chemical control is the one of the component of the IPM. Then only the IPM will be successful. But it should be regulated. Regulated one means the usage of the chemical should be need based instead of calendar based. Because if there will be lot of difference between the need based as well as the calendar based. Calendar based means even though one or two pests are there, most of the farmer they are spraying the chemical. And sometimes most of the times the farmers are depending upon the fellow farmer. If the fellow farmer is spraying the chemical, and he will also go and he will also spraying the chemical. By this way, there should be certain kind of the awareness. Instead of going on the calendar based of the chemical application, they have to go for need based. Then only we can regulate that particular uses of the chemicals. And moreover, nowadays even that most of the mobile apps, even agriculture universities, we also having the mobile app. With that mobile app, if the pest load will be very less, we used to suggest that you should not take up the any chemical method, so that we will be reducing the usage of the harmful chemical. And moreover, indirectly we are conserving of ecosystem. But it should be in a side by side. When the pest load is severe, and when the all IPM methods like cultural, physical, biological, and mechanical methods are not working, definitely we have to go for chemical method. Then only the farmer can get the assured yield. Otherwise, it's very difficult. But finally, we should use need based, not calendar based, madam. Yes, madam.
How does habitat manipulation contribute to pest management?
Habitat manipulation is nothing but here means most of the times what we have to do means we should create synchrony between the pest as well as the natural enemy. How we can create the synchrony between the pest and natural enemy means we should avoid the uses of we should avoid the uses of the harmful chemicals, so that what will happen, the natural enemies will be multiplying the more, so that our habitat will be much diversified. Then only the multiplication rate of the natural enemies will be very high. If the natural enemies are multiplication is a very high, obviously they will go and they will search for the particular pest, and they will reduce the pest load. For that purpose, habitat manipulation means we should, instead of going on the monocropping, and we have to go for intercropping. But in a paddy and some other crops where the intercropping is not possible, then they can go for on the buns. On the buns, they can go for either marigold or chrysanthemum. So that what will happen means, because of these flowering plants, most of the natural enemies they will be getting the attracted towards that flowers, and they will collect while collecting the nectar and those things, and they will find the certain kind of the pests on the adjoining crop, so that we can so that that natural enemy will be reducing of the pest load. By this way, habitat manipulation is the one of the most important component. Instead of going of the monocropping, and we have to go for multiple or intercropping or trap cropping or barrier cropping. we can reduce the pest load. Best example is in case of rice, if you go with marigold on the field bund, and we can reduce the incidence of the stem borer and some of the other sucking pests. And moreover, these bund, whatever the flowers we are getting, these flowers we can be used. Those flowers will be useful for the farmers for as a part of additional income like that. And in case of chili and tomato, and if they are going with marigold, they can reduce the helicoverpa armiger pest. And in case of maize, if they are going for the Napier grass or Sudan grass, they can reduce the fall army. Means every crop, there more or less habitat manipulation is there. But most of the farmer, they may think that if I cultivating along with that main crop some other crop, means the space will be wasting, and so that I may get the less yield like that. But this should be avoided, and we should create awareness in these aspects. Then only they can get that good habituation for cultivating of the, instead of going one crop, they can grow with intercropping. Like that, we can. Simple thing is we should create the synchrony between the pest as well as the natural enemy, and a synchrony between the crop as well as the pest. With that habitat manipulation, we can do. Yes, madam.
Okay. Moving to the next question. How can farmers integrate IPM with organic farming?
Yeah, this is most important, madam, because nowadays, as you said, nowadays, because of consumer preference and because of awareness and the increasing of the standard life, most of the consumers are preferring only organic products. In these organic products, the IPM is the one of the best component, and because here that whenever that because here when the farmer is growing for the organic farming, he has to use the multiple methods. Then only they can reduce the usage of the chemical, because in organic farming, if the farmer is using the any chemical, that we cannot call it as the organic farming. But this is at the time of sowing or before sowing of the crop only, the farmer has to think about these IPM practices and which method they has to use. Because if for example, if the farmer is cultivating that tomato organically cultivated tomato, but he should know that before cultivating of the tomato crop, and he has to go for deep summer flowering, so that whatever the pupa of that tobacco caterpillar or Spodoptera, which are the major pests of the tomato crop, they will expose to the cattle egret, or they will expose to the sunlight, they can reduce that one. And another one is they have to grow for tap cropping with tomato along with that marigold crop like that. And also they have to install that yellow sticky pads, blue sticky pads, pheromone traps like that. In a combination of methods, if you are using, means definitely you can avoid the uses of the chemical. And still, if the farmer want to use the chemical, that will be also allowed in organic farming, but he has to use the green labeled chemical. Green labeled chemicals means some of the chemicals like spinosad, which will be available on the market on the name of the tracer, that is a 0.3 ml, that is one of the option. And another one is neem oil, which will be neem seed kernel extract or azadirachtin 1500 ppm, that will be also allowed in organic farming. But that should be in a last resort, not before resort, because when this cultural, physical, mechanical, and biological methods are not working, then only the farmer has to go for this chemical method. But nowadays everybody is aware. Even in my university also, we are planning to develop that organic farming package practices for this crop, especially not field crops, and we are planning to the horticulture crops as well as the field crops also. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. I'll take up the next question. What are the challenges faced in implementing IPM in large-scale farming?
Madam, the major challenge is one major challenge is lack of availability, lack of quality available inputs, madam. Because I said that nowadays every district is having these bio inputs like biopesticides and these pheromone traps, yellow sticky pads. These are all the IPM inputs. But what will happen is most of the times they are not maintaining the quality. If the quality is the good, and if the farmer is using, means definitely it will give the good result. One point is lack of quality, and second point is lack of awareness. Still, most of the farmers, they though they know, because some of the as you said, some of the organic farmers, they are already following these pheromone traps, yellow sticky pads, and green labeled chemical. But so why other farmers are not following, means their lack of awareness. Second thing, and third most important thing is we have to create public understanding, means we have to give the mass campaigning. These are the methods which will be working very well, and we should conduct the demonstrations, because nowadays most of the institutions are conducting the demonstrations in a research institution. Instead of conducting these demonstrations in a research institution, if they are conducting the demonstrations in the farmer field level, then the farmer will know that particular aspect. Then definitely you will be going to use that particular IPM method that will be successfully validated. These three, four, one is the lack of quality output and lack of awareness and understanding, and conducting of the demonstrations in a directly in a farmer field. These are the challenges. When these challenges are encountered, definitely IPM is one of the most economically viable and ecologically feasible, and even it will be technically sound also, madam. Yes.
How can farmers be trained and encouraged to adopt IPM?
What, madam? I'm not getting.
How can farmers be trained and encouraged to adopt IPM?
Yeah. Because we have to conduct the regular training programs. These regular training programs, because nowadays even Department of Agriculture people, we can call them as the frontline extension workers. But because of some other extracurricular activities, means they are doing most of the times some other government programs. They left that main component of the extension. Means they have to go to farmer field, and they have to give the regular training programs. Then only the farmer came to know that yes, this particular technology which will be developed by the particular institutions, and which is working very well in other areas, and now it will be working very well in our areas also, like that. Means but we have to, main thing is conducting of the demonstrations, and not only demonstrations, and regular training programs, and frequently sending the messages, and frequently organizing of the melas or kisan melas, like that. And even like you now you organized one of the online training programs, like that. Means that will be create a bit of the motivation to the farmers, and then they will start using of these IPM components. Then only it will be successful. Most of the, if you look after the European countries and some of the other countries, their IPM is the one of the best method, and they are using there. The uses of the chemical will be very less, and uses of the IPM methods are the uh, uh, very high. But in our case, it is the reverse. We are using most of the chemical, and usage of the IPM will be very less. But this we have to create much demonstrations, much awareness, much training programs, and regular TV programs, regular radio programs, and mass meetings. Then only we can achieve effective uses of these IPM practices. Yes, madam.
Some successful case studies of IPM implementation in different crops.
Yeah, madam. Most of the successful stories are there. In case of, if you look after the Maharashtra, there will be effectively they are managing of this, especially that bollworms in Asta village of Maharashtra. That is the one of the successful story. And even recently, ICAR institution like NBAAR, they successfully managed that Rugo spiraling whitefly, as well as the Bandari nesting whiteflies in a coconut and oil palm and areca nut ecosystems. And even our institution developed certain IPM practices for effective management of the fall armyworm in a major ecosystem. Means they are using only one spray with a chemical that is also green level chemical, so that the ecosystem will be less harmful. And this is successfully, especially in a Nirmal and Bainsai area. And even in Nagar Karnool district, we promoted most of that IPM management practices successfully in 5 villages in Nandi Vaddaman and Khanapur and Palem, Vijnapalli, and adjoining areas. There, where the cotton is the one of the predominant crop, and we could effectively manage the less incidence, means not completely eradicated. We can manage the less incidence of this pink bollworm. And moreover, in case of tomato, we reduce the less incidence of the tomato pinworm, which is the recently introduced pest, and maize fall armyworm. Like that, most of the success stories are there. And if you look after the certain areas, they are extensively they are following these IPM practices, but still the adoption rate will be only in a particular villages where the demonstrations will be more, and where the university activities and the department people activities are more. There only the activities are the much showcasing. but still we have to do much extension, then only it will reach to the all the people. As you asked about the only success stories, now entire villages or entire district will be going to become a success stories when these biopesticide units or biofertilizer production units will be working in a full quality products. Obviously every village will be successful village, madam. Yes. Yes, madam. Hello.
Thank you very much, sir. We have now completed the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank Dr. M. Rajashekhar for the talk and for answering the questions. This meeting will now be closed.
Yes, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, sir.
Yeah. Shall I close, madam? Is there
Yes,
any?
sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.